How's everybody
Hello, hello,
doing?
hello. How are you that side,
Are you
Michaela?
eating? I'm doing well. How are you doing, Emmanuel?
Awesome, awesome. Can't complain, thank you. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Well, depending on where you are in the world, of course.
Where
Where's
is
everybody
everybody
from?
from?
Always quite fascinated to hear that, as well as with all the lovely weather elements. In some places, it is super hot. Some places, it's getting very, very cold. Always nice to see.
It's currently scorching hot where I am. You can see I'm wearing straps. Um, we're dying of heat. It's about 32 degrees Celsius at the moment, but we have like 80% humidity, which is absolutely crazy. So
Oh yeah, most definitely. Oh, and I see we have people from all over the world. All the way from Wisconsin, some in the UK, Becky from Wooming, and Glenda from Toronto.
I've always wanted to go to the
That is a
UK
very
just because it
diverse.
rains, just because it rains all the time. Um, and Manchester, I actually have family in Manchester, so I would always wanted to visit. Okay, we're going to give like another 3 minutes just to let everybody join who wants to join. There's more people. So we have Leslie from Cincinnati, we have Texas, we have Toronto, we have Michigan, we have Cleveland. I'm very jealous of everybody's winter right now. I've always wanted a white Christmas. I've never had a white Christmas.
Same here. But I don't think I could actually stand the cold because I am very, very allergic to cold. So I prefer the heat.
I
What does
love.
everyone prefer?
I Give me 1 second. I apologize. My dog is going absolutely crazy. Let me just go and fetch him quickly. Give me 1 second.
Sure, not a problem. Oh, dogs, such lovely creatures. I myself have four. And I see we have Natalie from the North Bay in Canada and Chile.
Here's the
Wow.
culprit, by the way. Little toy pom culprit. So.
Oh, so adorable.
His name's Puzzle and he's ancient. He's like 12 years old. So, grumpy old man.
Wow, 12 years old. And he seems so tiny, you would say he was born
Yeah.
yesterday.
He was the youngest of the lot. We actually adopted five toy poms at the same time, and he was the youngest. And yeah, and he's also the most overweight. So
Well, hey, that is a sign that he is well taken care of. So that's beautiful.
definitely, definitely. No, he's a little menace. This one. Okay, we can get started in about let me see. I think everybody's joined who wanted to join. so we can dive right in. Welcome, everybody, to our webinar. We're going to be exploring the top 5 best selling nonfiction genres. So we can dive right in. We're going to start with telling you a little bit more about us as the speakers, and then we can move forward from there. So, my name is Michaela. I'm the senior sales agent here at the Urban Writers. I have over 7 years of ghostwriting experience. I've been at the Urban Writers for 4.5 years, and I've written about 270 books, more than that actually, but let's round it off. And then, I've written everything from nonfiction to fiction, specialize in all kinds of genres. And I'll just give Emmanuel the mic to tell you a little bit more about himself.
Awesome. Wonderful. Yes. So my name is Emmanuel. I've been a professional salesperson for over a decade now. I've also helped assist thousands of customers with setting up the orders, understanding what they need and exactly what they need to actually be successful. And I've been over here with the Urban Writers for 2 years now, which has been a great journey thus far.
Alrighty, now the Urban Writers was started back in 2018 by Natasha and Marco Matinho. We literally started with a handful of writers and editors. It was tiny. And in the 5, 6 years that we've been operational, we've grown up to over 5,000 freelancers. So this includes writers, editors, audio narrators, cover designers. We've expanded to almost every side of publishing, everything you need in order to publish. And we literally just started with writers and editors. We've also written more than a billion words already, and we have over 20,000 satisfied customers at the moment as well. So we've grown exponentially in the past 6 years, and there's
Yeah,
no way forward but up.
very true. And many, many more books to come.
And many more words as well. So the agenda for the day, we've told you a little bit more about us. We're also going to be going over choosing your next nonfiction genre. We're going to be going over crafting your best nonfiction book, basically, to make the maximum impact. We're also going to go through challenges and tips and just advice to get over those sorts of things. And then we're going to go through what's next, and then we're going to have a Q&A section at the very end as well. Now, if you do want any questions answered at the end, please do pop it in the chat. We will be going over everything at the very end. If we don't get to your question, we will be answering them in DMs as well. So don't worry, your question is going to be answered. And just pop them in the chat. We'll definitely go over everything at the very end.
Most definitely.
Now, starting with choosing your next nonfiction book. Now, nonfiction has generated over $14.6 billion in 2023 so far. This is opposed to $14.02 billion in 2022. Now, the $14.6 billion is literally excluding Black Friday and Christmas sales. So it's the statistic was taken from before Black
Previously.
Friday and the Christmas sales. So it's safe to say that it is going to grow quite a bit more.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. And then a little bit more, some interesting facts. In 2022, 360 million nonfiction books were sold, and over 37% of all books sold in the US was adult nonfiction. So it is a massive market to actually get into. So the first genre that we can go over is memoirs and autobiographies. Now, people love to learn about other people. They love to read about other people. We like humans by nature. We like to observe other people, and by actually reading about other people as well, just gives them a little bit more insight as well, and it can lead to inspiring them as well to overcome certain aspects of their lives.
This is very true. It's always good to actually see a certain challenge or going through a particular predicament in your life. But when you do actually see that other people have gone through something similar, then you can also just pick up some inspiration as how to actually move forward with your life and see how people have done it and what they've overcome and how beautiful life can actually be if you just give it a chance.
Definitely. And that brings us to biographies. So it kind of ties in with one another. But biographies, think of famous people. Way back when I started writing, I started with a memoir, or not a memoir, a biography on Walt Disney. And it was absolutely amazing. It was such a fun book to write. And afterwards, the customer actually came back to me and was telling me about the amazing feedback that they've gotten from readers and what an impact that had. And they didn't know certain aspects of Walt Disney's life, and this book really did bring out and did inspire them as well. So biographies is absolutely fantastic to go into, and the possibilities are endless. There are millions of people that you can write about, and you can even go in and, for example, with biographies, you can go in and do children's biographies. So if you want to target little girls, the top five most influential women in the world and in history even, and then you can write it for children. So again, the possibilities are endless when it comes to biographies.
Very true. Even writing about your own life. I have had also quite a few clients who wanted to just leave a mark for their own families and just showing them or even teaching them about certain aspects and just taking them through their life's journey. Because as you know, like, with migration and all of that, a lot happens and a lot does get lost, which we do not leave around for our families. So it is nice just to also have that information, which you can then pass on to future generations within your family.
Yeah, everybody has a story to tell, right? And an autobiography is absolutely fantastic for that. Um, we can move on to self-help and self-development. This is a topic, a genre that is very popular this time of year. So the last 2 to 3 months of the year and the first about 3 or 4 months of the new year, because of New Year's resolutions. Everybody wants to be better in the new year. Everybody wants to improve their life in some way or another. And this is fantastic as a Christmas present, for example. Or once the new year has started, people still have their resolutions fresh in their minds. And this is where they will buy books and to actually learn how to do that themselves. So self-help books and personal development is extremely popular this time of the year.
Very true. And it also serves as a guide because sometimes we have all of these ideas of what we want to achieve and all of these fancy notions of where we want to go, but not actually having a set guideline as to how to actually achieve that. So self-help books do play a major role in actually helping you to set out your steps and make sure to turn those goals into achievable ones.
Exactly. And this does tie in with the next genre, which is motivational and inspirational books. This is there are so many examples. The name of the book escapes me now, but it's a 1952 book. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the book, but it is still relevant to this day. And it's absolutely fantastic. I've read it multiple times already. And the fact that it is still relevant does say something about the genre itself. So definitely consider something motivational and inspirational. Again, with the new year upon us and New Year's resolutions, people want to be positive. People want to get and so this is also very.
Very true.
Then we also have resolutions fit that. So because you have from winter to summer, in winter you want to get that beach bod, you know. In winter you want to learn about. Let me just quickly check my connection. We got a notification that I'm lagging out a little bit. Is it better now?
It does seem a little bit on my end. Hopefully that
It
is
does better.
better. But yes, most
Okay,
definitely with
wonderful.
there we go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just saying with health and fitness, especially coming out of Thanksgiving for some people, as well as going into the festive season and just consuming all those delicious amounts of food, it is good to have a health and fitness guide as to just bringing you back to your goals and just making sure that either whether you are gaining weight or whether you want to lose weight, whichever one of those you are able to achieve by having a plan and a guide with you, and also even educating others on how to go about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it health and fitness is just it's a very good all year round genre. So if you have a health and fitness book published and you kind of have seasonal books after that, that is a very good way to go about it as well. Now we do have some honorable mentions. In no particular order, we have history, anything regarding history, world wars, anything significant about anything that happened historically that is very popular, families and relationships. We also do have crafts and hobbies and home. So this can be gardening, it can be how to make greeting cards, that kind of thing. It is also very popular. And then we also have humor and entertainment. Now, it is also important to note that you can actually combine genres. So you can go ahead and combine um, humor and entertainment with health and fitness. That gives your book a unique take on health and fitness by actually having some humor in it, cracking some jokes, making fun of certain parts of life that can be a little bit serious and can be taken a little bit too seriously. It just it gives a fresh viewpoint on things. So do consider mixing up some genres. There are a couple of things. Humor and entertainment can almost be combined with anything as long as it's written in an upbeat kind of manner. People are going to be drawn to it naturally. Okay, we can move on to the next slide. Okay, then we have crafting your nonfiction book for maximum impact. So, this is just how you can go about crafting your book and what you need to know in order to, again, craft your books for the maximum impact. So, first, we want to identify your purpose and your audience. You can't start
Mhm.
your book or you can't start writing your book whether you're a writer or you're going to start your book by actually start your book and not you have a plan with what and what purpose and what I keeps a little bit. Yeah, so
Just
you can't go about writing your book without planning beforehand. You need to know exactly what you want to do. So that is very, very important.
yes, just to also hop in over there with identifying purpose. Of course, like they say, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So it is very important to know exactly what the audience is looking for before even writing your book, as well as also identifying why you want to actually write your book. This will help your audience to connect more with your material, and it will even give you a more solid approach when it comes to your book, creating it, as well as even providing it to your audience. So yes, that is very, very important to first identify your purpose and the audience which you want to market to.
Yeah. This also does fall into conducting thorough marketing research. You need to know
Definitely.
who you'll be targeting, and you need to know the kind of bestsellers that you will be mimicking in a way. The best way to do this is to go onto Amazon and to just search for bestsellers in that genre. So if you want to do chair yoga for people over 50, you can go ahead, search for that, and see the bestsellers. Look at their reviews, look at what people are saying about this book, and see how they are actually marketing their own books as well in order to just see how you can compete with them. The other thing which you can use for marketing research is a program that we actually created ourselves called Dibly Create. It is AI. It is AI generated and assisted. So
Yes.
on this, you can go in, you can actually do some market research. You can, what this means, the way that the marketing research in this works, is that you can go in, select a title, so select a genre and a title that you want to
Hmm.
research, and Kip, the little AI assistant that we have, will go in and give you, say, 5 titles of whichever genre that you're looking at, the price that they actually list their books as well as some reviews that they have as well. So in the chat, there is a link to check out Dibly Create. There are many more amazing tools in Dibly Create that you can use, but for marketing research, this is absolutely fantastic. It also helps you with title
Definitely.
generation.
Yes, which
Next,
will
we
help.
have. Sorry, what was that?
Now, I was just adding on to what you were saying about Dibly Create, that it would definitely assist with cutting your research down, so that you don't spend hours and all that information. Now, everything will just be presented to you in a matter of minutes, and then you'll have all that information for you to then be able to take the next step.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Emmanuel, if you just want to take on the next couple of points, I do see that my internet is lagging a little bit. I'm just investigating that quickly.
Sure, sure, not a problem at all. Yes, and then moving on to the next point, which would be to start with something you know. So this is very important because this does also speak to the credibility of your work. So if you start with something that you know, so if you start with something that you know, then definitely there you can then expand on that particular idea, coming from a background where you are certain of that particular fact, and that will also resonate with the people that you are trying to reach out to. So you can either start with something you know, or you can make that the focal point of where you are trying to go with your book writing. So yes, starting with something you know is very, very important, and it can actually then lead to a bigger impact as it will resonate with your audience. And then next up, we have be unique. So, with being unique, that is also very important because it will help you to then stand out in a saturated market, or even just as an author. It is very important to be unique, and we can do this in multiple ways. We can do this by taking or mixing niches together. So even if you're writing, like Michaela mentioned earlier, with a self-help book such as maybe health and fitness, and then combining that with something more humorous that can then go on to have a unique selling point to your book, which will help and definitely go a long way in creating the maximum impact with your audience.
Yeah,
And then,
definitely. Sorry, just to add to that, Emmanuel, as Emmanuel mentioned, it's very everything in nonfiction is a saturated market. There are thousands and thousands of books in every genre. The key to standing out is to be unique. You will not be able to stand out in any case if you are not being unique. So you do need to take it or do need to approach it from a different angle in order to stand out and to catch somebody's eye. So being unique is very, very important.
awesome, yes, indeed. And then next up, we have actionable advice and takeaways. So with this, we can also go on to possibly creating a workbook, which can then work with our book that we have created. So just to help our audience to not only just read the book and then just forget about it, but then from there they can even make notes as to what they have learned, or just to help them put some of those items into action, and then actually take away from your book and not just read it and forget about it. So it is important to also make sure that the content you have is relatable and that there is always something that you can take away from it, because it is a very horrible feeling to now go through an entire book and then at the end of it feel like you have gained nothing, or you have just wasted your time reading all of that for no reason whatsoever. So having actionable items within your book and maximum impact to your audience. And there we go. I don't know if
Okay, we
Michaela would
can
like
move
to
on
add
to our
anything
next
onto
slide.
that. Awesome.
Sorry, in the background, our assistant that's helping us with the slides, can you please just, yeah, challenges and tips. It took a moment to update for me. Okay, so first up, we want to build credibility and trust. This is very, very important if you are going to be giving advice. People want to follow advice of people who are, sorry, Emmanuel, it's my audio is cutting out again. Can you just take over? Thank you.
Definitely. So over here we have challenges and tips. So tying in with our previously mentioned items, so building credibility and trust is very, very, very big, and it can assist with your book, or even break it down if you don't have any credibility and trust within your community. Now, ways in which we can actually achieve building credibility and trust is to have proven statements within your books. So these can be presented as figures or testimonials, or even just factual items which are within your book, which do prove that you do know what you are talking about. And it can also help if you are, let's say, a motivational speaker, that you create a book which then does also speak on some of those points. That way you can then relate to your book saying, hey, I am a published author. These are the points which I've spoken of, and that can then also help your career. And vice versa. You can also use your books to also take your career to the next level. I have helped quite a few letters to actually help them progress into other areas. And then next up, we also can then speak on saturated markets. Now, as Michaela had mentioned, the nonfiction world is very saturated in regards to topics, because or almost every topic under the sun has already been spoken of, obviously. But just like with your favorite grocery store, when you do walk in there and you go into the bread aisle, you will come across many, many different brands all selling books. So most definitely, I mean, sorry, all selling bread, just different brands. So with that does not mean now you cannot go into the market and sell bread as well. You just have to find your own unique selling points to then be able to then penetrate the market. So it is definitely possible. You just have to do your research thoroughly and then go on with that.
Yeah, and then we have deadlines and rapid publishing. Now, it is very important to stick to a deadline once you have set it. So, do be reasonable with that deadline that you are setting. Whether you are a writer or you're just a publisher and you're getting a ghostwriter to do it, with the estimated delivery time, add 10, 20 days even to that, so that you can still review the content and make sure that you're 100% happy with publishing it. The other important thing to do, and this might apply to some people, personally, when I'm writing, I like to give it a month and then go back to whatever I've written, in order to look at the document and look at the work with fresh eyes. So it kind of gives you an opportunity to read something as if you haven't read it before. Things might still be fresh in your mind, but other things you might have forgotten that you've written or that you've read from the ghostwriter that's written it. During the process of having something ghostwritten by the urban writers, you will be able to view the document the entire time it's being written, and then you get opportunities to request revisions afterwards. Now, with that, once it is delivered and once it's finalized, again, give it some time just so that you can go back and then read through it again. And then rapid publishing it is very, very popular to do as well. This basically builds credibility as well, because the more books you have published, then people are going to look at this and say, "Well, wow, this person actually has quite a couple of books published," and then they'll actually go and publish your book as well, or purchase your book as well. So the more books you can publish, the better. And rapid publishing is a very good way to actually do this as well. So a good way to go about this is to have 3 or 4 books written, not publishing them right away when they're delivered, and then going and publishing it once they have all of those books ready. So they'll do one a week, or one bi-weekly, or even one a month. And that does help build that credibility as well, because you are constantly releasing content as well. So that is something to keep in mind. If you do have the budget to actually get something written, multiple books written, definitely do consider rapid publishing. We then have reviews and feedback. Now, previously I did mention that you do need to look at reviews on other books and on bestsellers as well. You need to see what those books are doing wrong and then improving it in your own book. That way, people are actually finding what they're looking for in your book. You are also going to get reviews and feedback that you might not like. Everybody has an opinion, everybody thinks they're a writer, everybody thinks they know best. And the key to this is to not take it personally. Whether you're a writer or a self-publisher, and you're getting a ghostwriter to do it, it is very important to not take feedback personally, and using that feedback to improve future books. So for an example, if your book is about growing daisies in your backyard and somebody is complaining that you didn't add enough details on different kinds of daisies, in the future, if you're having a book on growing roses in your backyard, you know you can add more details on different kinds of roses. So
Most
that is
definitely.
something to keep in mind as well. Just don't take it
Mm.
personally. Learn from those reviews as well. Then we have discoverability. Again, in a very saturated market, it is difficult to be discovered. And a way that you can overcome this is by using keywords. So if you're having a book description done, using keywords in that book description is going to help you with the Amazon algorithm. So you do need keywords. So if somebody searches for chair yoga on Amazon, your book will pop up because you have the keyword um, chair yoga in the book description. So that is going to pop up. So keywords are very, very important on Amazon listings. The other thing is, of course, your socials. Any marketing that you're doing, everything needs to lead back to the book that you are trying to market. People don't want to go and look for it. They don't want to go and search for it. They just want to click on a link, and that's that. On your socials, have your Amazon profile listed. If you have multiple books, list that on all of your socials so somebody can just go ahead, click on it, and then see all of the books that you have published. So you can get started with the urban writers if you're wanting to get a book ghostwritten, or getting anything else to just help polish your book and make sure that everything is 100% for publishing, whether it be editing, cover designs, book descriptions, anything like that. You can always reach out to sales at theurbanwriters.com, and we will be able to assist you from there. We can hop on a call, we can help you via email. So whatever it is that you want to learn or want us to assist you with, we can do it via that email address. I will repeat the email address later on as well, just so it will also be on the screen for you to jot down if you haven't already. So
Definitely.
our next webinar will actually be on maximizing your reach with audiobooks. Now, I did mention earlier that we've expanded into audiobooks. This isn't brand new to our platform, but audiobooks have increased sales massively for people who are publishing. So do consider publishing in different formats. So
Mm-hmm.
audiobooks, it's an amazing format to actually publish in. You don't have to
Yeah.
publish immediately on in audiobooks. You can publish your ebook, you can publish your paperback, and then move into audiobooks. But audiobooks is basically a must at this point if you do want to increase your sales. So we'll be going into why audiobooks is important and what makes a great audiobook. We're going over challenges and tips just like we did this time, and then we'll also have what's next. That will only be in the new year, the next webinars, and then we also have our Q&A section as usual. And then the time and date will still be determined, and registration
Mm-hmm.
will be sent out via email, just like we did with this one. Now we have
Awesome.
our Q&A section. So the questions will send over, or we will put some questions on the screen, and then we'll answer it as best as we can. And if we don't get to your questions, we will respond to them in a DM as well, or on a comment or reply to your comments as well, so everybody can see it. So let's start with the first question. How do you choose a tier? So this is when you are purchasing with the urban writers. This
Mm-hmm.
this is very heavily reliant on the topic that you choose. If you're doing
Yeah.
self-help, basically any tier can assist you with that. So it can be from urban or rising, urban, top, and premium. So rising being our newest writers on the platform, and premium being the most advanced writers on the platform. We also do have a
Season.
bonus tier called finance and tech. So if you're doing self-help, for example, any tier will be able to assist with that. But if you're doing a personal finance book, for example, then you'd want to go with finance and tech. So what I'd suggest is going on our database. You can search for freelancers on the database and see who you want to work with, and you can basically filter via niche as well, so you can see the
Mm-hmm.
kind of you can see the kind of people that are in those specific niches, so the tiers that are in those niches, see who you want to work with, and then place your order based on that if you're unsure of which tier to go with. Okay. Next question is, how do you choose a writer? Emmanuel, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, definitely. So with selecting writers, well, they can either be found by waiting for requests to come in from the writers themselves. So within 24 hours, you will start receiving requests from writers to work with you on your profile, on your projects. And then you can just go through those requests and see exactly why they want to work with you. You can go through the profiles and then select a writer who is suitable to your requirements. We do also have a database where you can go and search and filter out depending on your book requirements. And then from there, you can find suitable writers who you can reach out to and then invite onto your project. So it's all within the platform, nice and easy to use.
It is also important to note that if you have a more obscure niche, so if it's something, some customers do like to have, like I said, obscure niches. For example,
Mm,
oh my goodness, I thought of the actual, so hydroponics as an example. People do need to have experience in those specific genres, and those specific um, niches, sub niches, basically. So it might take a little bit longer to get responses from writers for those niches. So that is just something to keep in mind. The pool for those writers aren't as big as for something like self-help. Okay, next
very true.
question is, how do I know which genre to choose? By doing some research and by seeing, okay, literally on Amazon, go and search just for bestsellers. Just filter the bestsellers and see the top ones, and then you can decide which genre to choose. It also does depend on the audience and the impact that you want to have on that specific audience. So it is important to make those decisions from the get-go. You need to choose those things first
Hmm.
before you can choose a topic. Of course, if you have everything set out already, you are more than welcome to go ahead and just start with the topic and then make your decisions from there. But if you're unsure about which topic to choose, do some research, check what sells best. Have a sit down, brainstorm a little bit what you are interested in within these niches and genres, and then you can move forward from there. Okay, the next question is, how do I get sales? So, the most important part after getting your book written and having your cover design done, that
Marketing.
kind of thing, is actually doing your marketing and publishing. Marketing and publishing is very underrated. It is one of the things that most self publishers don't actually know how to approach. So, it is very, very important to do your research and to learn how to market your book. We did do a marketing
Hmm.
webinar last week. Candice and
Yeah.
Fuad actually hosted that. They're absolutely fantastic. So I'd definitely go ahead and check that out and see this. It was specifically for holidays and boosting your sales during the holidays, but you'll definitely be able to get some tips from that as well. We also have some
Yeah.
fantastic blogs on our website which you can go through. It's absolutely awesome. So you definitely, when you go to www.theurbanwriters.com, you can go to our blogs and you can see, you just go through it. There are countless articles on marketing, so just go ahead and read through that as well. Okay, and then Glenda asks, are you talking about self-published writers or authors with deals with legit publishers? And if so, do publishers still expect query letters in the same style and content as 10 years ago? Now, I'm specifically talking about self-publishers. Traditionally, publishing is it's extremely difficult, especially when you do things like nonfiction. Um, they do still expect you to give your they do still expect basically a cover letter and your description and your synopsis, that kind of thing. Specific traditional publishing houses have specific guidelines, so I can't tell you exactly what those guidelines are, so you'd have to go and just check out the publishers that you want to send your content to and then see, okay, this is the
Yeah.
format that they want, this is what I need to send in. But with self-publishing, that isn't necessary. You can just go about it your own way. Some people do get publishing deals just by their synopsis. They don't even they don't even write their entire books just yet. They just do the synopsis. That is mostly for fiction. So if you are considering traditional publishing, consider doing fiction instead of nonfiction, because fiction is a lot more difficult to actually get into. And then we have Mallory Holland asking, on the crafting side, are these items in order of importance? No, they are not. These are just things to actually keep in mind. So they're just tips and points, basically. You don't need to um, basically consider, oh my goodness, which one was it first? You don't have to consider your audience first and then the rest. You can do it in whichever order you want. It isn't actually in order of importance. It just needs to be done, basically. Um, okay. What is the minimum investment? Unfortunately, it does depend on niche to niche, on publisher to publisher. Some people do need to invest a little bit more than other people, so I cannot give you the exact answer on this. You would need to do some research on that on your end based on the niche and sub niches that you choose.
And we can also assist you with finding out exactly what your projects will require, just by finding out more about your project, whether you are looking for all the developmental items or if you're just looking for some of the items to be created. So once again, depending on your requirements, we can then take it from there with you.
Okay. Um, I don't see there. Okay, if they don't use all services in the package, can we transfer unused services? Yes. Um, Usually everything is used. All of the items is used because you do need all of them in order to publish. But we can definitely, if somebody hasn't started work on it yet, we can transfer it to another project, or we can actually give you store credit as well. If you don't have another project lined up or posted just yet, what we can do is we can give you store credit for the amount, and then you can post your new project and use that store credit as a discount.
Definitely.
Okay, any other questions? I think we've gone through everything. So, um, yeah, give us some more questions if you have them. I think we'll give it about a minute or two, and then we can wrap up, I believe. But yeah, nonfiction, there are endless possibilities with nonfiction. It is a very, very it's a beneficial area of expertise to act, or an area to go into. And if you have expertise in that specific area, even better. Everybody knows something about something, so if you have something that you are passionate about and that you enjoy learning about, definitely consider going into that, especially for your first project. So if you're talking with someone, you are knowledgeable, you know exactly what you're talking about, and people can see that you're actually passionate about that as well. So do consider going into something that you actually are passionate about, that aligns with the top niches and genres, because there are a lot of subgenres and sub niches that you can actually go into. There are endless possibilities with
Hmm.
self-help, endless possibilities with hobbies, so do consider that. Okay, I
Definitely.
don't think that we have any other questions. Again, you can reach out to us at sales@theurbanwriters.com if you have any queries. You can find it on our website as well. Just click on contact us and you'll see all of the contact details. You can give us a call as well. Oh, we just got another question. Rebecca, are there diagrams or graphs that's needed for the book? Do you have services for within your platform? Some, yeah. So we can do that depending on the kind of graph that you are looking for. Some graphs do actually require an illustrator to do it. In other cases, a writer can do it as well. So we would need you to send us an
Hmm.
example of the graph that you are looking for, and then, or the graph or diagram, and then we can say, okay, we need an illustrator for this, or no, the writer can do this for you, and then we'll quote you on that. So just send us an example. Okay, well, again, if you need anything whatsoever, do reach out to us via sales@theurbanwriters.com, or head to our website. That's www.theurbanwriters.com, and you can find the contact us page there as well. You can call in, schedule a call, whichever way works for you. We're always happy to assist. And that's it from us. Have an absolutely awesome weekend ahead. If we don't catch you in the next one, definitely have an absolutely wonderful holiday season. It's almost the new year. Get those New Year's resolutions in place already, because 2024 is going to be a big year for all of us. So happy New Year,
Definitely.
happy Christmas, happy holidays, whichever you are celebrating, and